Welcome to Trading Lounge and the European indices. We'll cover the Stock 50, the DAX, and the UK and AEX. And with the Stock 50 here, as I've pointed out before, one of the main things here was that this top needs to be taken out here, and we need an impulse wave here. So this particular structure here was really the same as the Nasdaq actually, and it also was the alternative count for the S&P, which I really should have had it as the primary count, but you know, I'd been talking about it every single day pretty much for the S&P. So really this is, you know, how the other markets in the European sector are going to relate, even the UK market. So basically, in a nutshell, all of these patterns that we've just been looking at is wave 4, and we're looking for a new high to come into play here, and this will be the same for the DAX as well. So just going to the market here. So you know, one of the counts we had here was having wave 5 over here, and obviously that's not the case, so we put wave 4 here. But just to be sort of, I just want to go over and talk about this a little bit further. So we kind of recognize that there was a bit of a triangle pattern happening here, and it could break higher. So first of all, this low here was important because it came down and then it had its retest here, but it never failed. You know, normally it would just, if it was going to fail, then it would come up and retest here and then move down from that point there. So it never really did that. But we kept this here as a signal to go short, which really would have been along these lines here. But you know, and this so then we had this top over here, and then we kept bringing it down into this space here. So that's fine. That was our top one, and that's our bottom one. And we've had this lighter one in here to go short in here as such. And you know, maybe it got you a trade, maybe it didn't, whatever. But the interesting point here is that it never you know, it never failed its retest when it came back and checked here. So it broke down here and came back and as retesting here, and that's okay. We could have even gone to, you know, technically we could have, with the level, this is the low then, you know, well, I'll leave that there. This one here would have come into this play, and then we could have also used this one here, but still it never retested and failed. You know, it never retested and failed to give us the actual entry point. It's not that this is perfect all the time, but it's really a, you know, it's a very simple, effective, and much safer way to enter into a market. As I say, the breakout's important, and people are normally chasing it. The breakout's important, but the retest is always more, to me, is just as important, or if not more important, to get the next setup here. So look, anyway, hopefully that you may have taken this high here, and maybe even a better one. I mean, when you're above the level, you look for long trades. When you're below the level, you look for short trades. Okay, so maybe you've got a better entry in here. You know, yeah, nice if you have, nice if you haven't. But in this case here, what we're looking for now with this is 5 waves up. So we've got wave 1 here and wave 2 here, and this is all the third wave, which I don't think is finished. We'll pull this out on the opening anyway. So these will be a previous wave 4s here. So we may it's already done its thing here, so that can go up to this point before we get this wave 4 coming into play here. So yeah, that's fine. That's at the 200 area here, so level 1, 2 and 3 here. So we've still got further to move up into this space here, so I'm just going to save that. In fact, we don't need this one, and we put that wave 4 here. Save that. And the AEX, So just on the 4-hour chart here, normally been working on the 1-hour chart, and once again also had this as a possible top in here in line with the DAX, but the Stock 50 was showing a different picture. But I'm just using the 4-hour chart here just to show the bigger picture and in that wave sequence for this. So one of the things here though is that if this is correct, if this from wave 2 here is 5 waves up for wave 3 on this high here, then normally if the extension's in wave 3 here, then wave 1 and wave 5 will be roughly the same size. So if we take this to this point here, just move that just as a bit of a guide stick here, it's not like we're going to go a long way up through here. I mean, technically all we need to do is make a high here, and as mentioned in the DAX, we're looking for 5 waves up. So coming back here on the 1-hour chart here, on that 4-hour chart too, is probably easier to see here. It's quite nice. It pulled back to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree, and let's just double check here, just roughly 38.2% retracement level was lower, but it came back to this wave 4 here. So either of those spaces would have been fine at that point. And just on the 1-hour chart here, we've definitely got wave 1 and 2 here, and we're looking at all this being the third wave up here. So we can say that this is at the 50 here, so we can expect this is an old trend line here too. So this is also helpful as well, because it would have broken, this would have been blue wave 2's trend line. So wave 4 breaks the trend line, so all of that would have been fine. And yeah, so it doesn't appears there wouldn't be much more in this here as such in here. And unless this is going to extend much higher, but this is now in line with the S&P 500 as well, so we need to be a little bit mindful of that. So any correction from this point here, we'll see if it's in if it's, you know, we'll look for the 61.8% mark with these coming back in here as well for this is the 50-60% mark. If we get 3 waves back to the 50-60% mark, then we know that that's corrective. But if we get 5 waves coming down to the 61.8% mark here, if we get 5 waves down to the 61.8% mark, then we know that we're going to be like in a bearish mode from that point. So we'll pick that up. So Friday and Monday should be relatively bullish in this, to finish this process off to the upside here. And the UK market is lagging, so that's what I was thinking with this one here. Maybe this is just wave 1 up to here, then wave 2 back, and then wave 3 up there, but I won't know that until this comes into play. But the FTSE, if I look at this here on the 4-hour chart here, like the AEX, then we can look at this. This is the 38.2% retracement level here, so that's okay. But as I mentioned before, this structure to the upside just never really seemed completed here. So now it would. But the thing with this though is that we need to see a new high above this one here. So this market's really lagging. So it should pick up quite quickly here. One of the safer trades here, I mean, number 5 here, 7,500 here, is 5's the second strongest number in the market. So we'd really want that as support first, okay? So just coming back to the hourly chart here, if this is wave 4 low, this is the 38.2% retracement level here, and the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree in here. So it has come back here. I have made mistakes in here, as you know, but I think we've kept ourselves pretty safe, because we wouldn't have gone long last time unless this was breached here, and then we were looking for the short trade under here. So maybe you've captured some of this and it's retraced now. It's possible, if I was also wrong again, then it would fail. If it was going to fail, this level across here, the 7500, is the resistance, obviously. So if it's going to fail, this is where it's going to fail from. So if you're going to go long, you want that as support. Okay, it's as simple as that. So you'll have to recognize that as support, and then this segment can come in over here, because we'd still need to see, in one way or another, we'd need to see a push up here. We want to create the first high above the level to put that on there. Then we want to see some sort of reaction. We want to bring that there. But, all being well, we need to see this top here being taken out here. Okay, this is probably another way to look at it through here. But in one way or another, we need the first high above the level, or we need tested support on this area here. And you can add to supports in the early stages here within group 1 here, but it is the 30 here, the 5730, that you need as a tested support to get to say that tested support on top of number 3 here, 30, tells you that you're leaving the magnet pull of the 500 here. Alrighty, cheers.